So it's becoming pretty clear that augmented and virtual reality are going to be the computing platforms of the future. But rather than waiting for that future to arrive, I've been building prototypes to see how we could really use these platforms to do the basic things we know we'll need to do. Things like writing a message to a coworker or reading up on something in Wikipedia. Because the strengths and weaknesses of the platform are going to be so different from most of those before them, we should expect that even these simple tasks will actually end up looking very different to the way they're performed today. A while ago I built Word Reality to think about how creating information, or writing, might work within VR. I've got a link to that in the description, but today I want to show you how we might navigate through an existing information space, literally browsing through Wikipedia like it's an exhibition at a museum. This is Timeline VR. I start the experience by retrieving an article from Wikipedia. We're presented with a long line of dates in chronological order, and the parts of the article that reference them. To navigate through the space, I can literally walk through it, or if I'm lacking space in the real world, I can pull the timeline forward or backward with my controller. I can also do that side to side, but more on that later. You might notice that the selected date also has a little sidecar panel on it. These are all the links to the articles that this piece refers to. By convention, Wikipedia only makes the first reference to another article into a link, but because these date statements are meant to stand alone, I've added links to all of them, and kept them to one side to minimize distraction. If I find something that takes my interest, I can select it by pointing my controller at it and pulling the trigger. Instead of clearing the world content, though, the new article slides in beside the first one. We can load any number of articles in like this, move them around, and even close them by hitting the icon on the title. This way, we're really using the 3D space around us for something meaningful. The separate but aligned arrangement of the content lets us tell which dates relate to which article, but also lets us look across articles to see developments that are related in time, like the development of the computer, the history of the space program, and the history of the Cold War. We can also see gaps in a timeline more clearly. It's easy to miss when written prose skips over a big window of time, but on an embodied linear scale, large gaps in time are clearly visible. So that's the what of Timeline VR, and now I want to go into a little more of the why. Historians read history differently. They're able to keep a mental check on other events and dates from history to understand the deeper context behind a single story, because histories are all interrelated. Timeline VR takes this background process of the expert and renders it visibly to all users, expert or novice. It supports processes that human brains struggle with, complex chronological sequences and their interrelationships, by translating them into domains where we have better natural expertise from years of embodied experience, human-scale spatial reasoning. It's literally augmenting human intellect, giving the user a superpower. This kind of thing could only happen in virtual reality. This kind of three-dimensional visualization just needs too much space. Even the largest computer screens on the market today can really only accommodate 2 printed pages at most, and even loading 2 two-dimensional articles side by side won't really give you a clear view of the relationship between them. On the other hand, while a physical installation of a timeline like this would be easier to follow and be more immersive, you're going to need a lot of time, space, and money to build it. This does happen with high-profile concepts like Stanley Kubrick and the history of film, but with virtual reality we can do that with any concept, and even expect to use a view like that as part of our reasoning. This is a tool we can use to think with. So just like with Word Reality, this is all a web page running on current generation VR hardware. It's running on Oculus Quest here, but it also runs on HTC Vive or even on 2D and desktop and mobile. You can try it for yourself at the link in the description. So that's it. I hope you find these ideas useful. Please get in touch on Twitter if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.